Good morning and welcome to Ask a Traffic Cop. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada. And what do we do here? Why are we on your screen? Well, we are answering your traffic and police questions for a full hour. That's what we do here Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And we have a lot of fun doing it, but our goal is to be informative, to dispel rumors and myths about traffic laws and traffic safety things that, you may have questions about. That's what we do here. It's why we exist. But we also talk about things like Vision Zero Enforcement Team. Let's start with that. So May 3rd, our Vision Zero Enforcement Team are spending time focusing on the Big Four in 52 Division and 42 Division today. They are the communities, or those are the communities, the neighborhoods of Kensington, Chinatown, Bay Street Corridor, Malvern, Agincourt, Milliken, Rouge, like Scarborough. And what do? They augment, they assist. They have more people dealing with traffic safety issues in that area to help out the already good work being done by officers in that division. What does that mean, the Big Four? Well, they're looking for people who are speeding, driving aggressively, people who are distracted, or maybe even impaired. That's what they do. Okay, let's talk about other things. What other things can we talk about? If you want to ask questions, because that's what we do here, use the Q&A function on TikTok or use the Q&A function on Instagram. I look into different cameras because different people are looking back at me. And of course, we're also simulcasting on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. However, if you're watching on Twitter, I'm very sorry to report that we cannot see you. That's because the API is still under construction or broken since they moved from, what's it called? Periscope into this new Twitter Live. Maybe Elon will fix it, and hopefully things will start working again. If you have questions, and I see some popping up, but before we get to that, if you don't mind, please tap the screen if you're on YouTube if you're on TikTok or Instagram. That really helps us. It tells the algorithm that we are doing something good and worth watching. But even better, please share it. Regardless of the platform that you're watching on, please share the live with your friends and family and even people you don't like. We're not picky. We just want to make sure that we get our traffic safety and traffic messaging out to the people that are important, which is everybody. If you are in Ontario, that is the focus of what we answer. We answered laws based on Ontario answers, but that doesn't mean we can't talk to you about other things. Canada-wide is criminal. This criminal code is across the entire country, but we even talk about stuff in the States sometimes. So if you've got questions, well, we might even have answers. That's what we do here. Let's look at the Q&A and see what's up. Do you have a canine? I do not have a canine. I'm a traffic officer, but there is a canine unit with the Toronto Police, quite a large one, in fact, with a big old building just for themselves. But they do have a lot of great stuff going on. Let's see here. TPS Careers. If you are interested in becoming a police officer with the Toronto Police Service, you should really be checking out our careers page. tps.on.ca/careers will give you information on becoming a member of our police service as a police officer, special constable, parking enforcement officer, auxiliary officer as a volunteer, or any number of civilian positions that we are regularly hiring for. I think we have some technical jobs in the IT world right now. We had some marketing jobs. We have people who are in communication. Lots of opportunities to become a member of this wonderful organization that I have been a member of for, over 22 years. I recently celebrated a work anniversary because LinkedIn told me so. That's how I know. Must be true. Okay. When I get older, I'm going to be an officer. That's awesome. And you know what? Preparing yourself now for that future career is the way to do it. You can study hard and get in shape and do everything you need to do to pass the requirements. Knowing what those requirements are so you can set a goal is the way to do it. Let's see here. Is it? Oh, here's a good question. Is it? No, that's not the question I chose, but that's the question that popped up. Is one person after 12 with intermediate important? I have no idea what you're talking about in this question that I didn't select it. Let's go into the, actually this time it did choose the one I wanted. Is it legal to lane filter at a light on a motorcycle? So this is where you come to a stop at an intersection and you then begin to scoot between cars to roll to the front of the line. Cyclists do it all the time. Motorcyclists do it, but they shouldn't be doing it. It's not a safe practice. I will say it's safer than doing it when you're in motion, which we would likely charge you for careless driving for doing, or even stunt if you're doing it at speed. But lane filtering isn't something that is specifically, there's no lane filtering law, but there is something that you could be charged for careless driving or possibly something else. At any day, regardless of the law, it does create a major issue with road rage. Because you motorcyclists who do this annoy drivers. And then they take off from the pack and you just make motorcyclists look bad. So don't do it. I'm a motorcyclist. I want us to look good. Let's see here. We've got Andrew McNaughton who says, good morning, everybody. Big Jeff Fresh coming in from YouTube who says, good morning. And Andrew wants to know if warnings count on insurance. Great question. And no, they don't. The reason I say that is because they don't go in your driver's license. They stay in police record. We have a record of your warnings, but the insurance company isn't notified. The only thing that they know about are suspensions and convictions. So there you go. Canine selfie. I don't have a dog. There's no dog here. Okay.
They were responding to somebody that they knew works with canine.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. My friend has a canine.
handle.
Let me have her. Let me give her your ticket. Okay, gotcha. Okay. What is your favorite hockey team? I'm contractually obliged to say that it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. Yes, it's in my contract. Got to say it. They won last night, didn't they? Anybody? Maple Leafs fans here? I wasn't watching. I was probably sleeping, but I heard on the radio this morning that they won. So that's good if you like hockey and Leafs that are Maple.
Do you have to stop at stop signs in parking lots, sir?
Say that again. Oh, do I have to stop at stop signs that's safe in parking lots? You should, because if you don't, you're going to be charged for, if you don't and you cause a collision, you're going to be responsible for it. But you can't be charged for rolling through a stop sign on private property. If you cause a collision, you're still responsible for it, but again, can't be charged for rolling through it. Now, that's not to say that there are not public-private, let's say TTC lots or Go Transit lots that have their own bylaws that then say that you would have to, and they can be charged. You can be charged under their bylaws, and that's Ontario law. So if you're somewhere else, it may not apply, and there may be laws. So here's the deal: it is prudent, it is smart, it is wise and safe to stop at all stop signs. Why? Because if you get into a collision, you're still responsible. Okay, some folks have popped in, and let's say hello to them. Leo wife, my wife, says good morning, coming in on YouTube. Good morning, and I assume you're with my currently snacking family. My kids are probably having a snack. Hi, guys, love you. We have Rory Fraser says 5-0 for the Leafs, coming in from LinkedIn. Andrew McNaughton says Leafs played well. Campbell was very solid in net. I did not watch, so I am glad I'm getting this play-by-play. And it's Snacking YouTube Day. Great. Snacking YouTube Day is my family. Hi, family. It's always nice that they support me here online. They watch the show on a regular basis. At least I get a couple of views there. No, it's good. We've got over 300 people in the room right now on TikTok alone. If you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here on Ontario, Canada. We answer your traffic and police questions Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. This is what we do. It's one of the many things we do. And if you want good information, ask us questions because we got lots of information. Steve says, hi and good morning. And a question that I tried to pick up before someone asked about snitching. Again, YouTube is possessed. Is it, not YouTube, TikTok is possessed. Is it illegal to have underglow on your car? Love this question. And you know what? We have a sound effect for it. Is it this one? No, I think it's this one. Yeah, that's the one. That's underglow. Underglow is not specifically regulated, but the deal is that you have other laws that you might be violating if it's not properly installed, and that is specifically dealing with projecting light forward or back that is of a color other than white or yellow or red or amber if you're talking about the back. So you might be breaking the law. You want to make sure that your light bulbs are not visible and they're only projecting light directly down. That would be a big thing. Some cheaper kits or improperly installed kits make the bulbs visible and project light sideways or front or back. That would make them illegal. That could result in you getting tickets. Boop the snoop and share the live. Okay, thanks. That's a message from Q, who wants you to tap that screen so your fingers go numb if you're on TikTok or Instagram. And if you are on any of the other channels, please share it with your socials, retweet, forward it. And by the way, for those on Twitter, we're not ignoring you. We just can't see the messages. We can see messages coming in from YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, or Facebook, but not from Twitter. It's broken. Of course, if you come over to TikTok or Instagram, we definitely see your questions, and that's what most of our stuff is coming from because it's the busiest place on earth. Let's see here. Car stop right behind me, light manual car roll back, whose fault? So you're responsible for the movement of your motor vehicle. If you come to a stop and you roll back because you don't have good clutch or brake control, then you are going to be responsible for rolling into the vehicle. Now, granted, they shouldn't have stopped on your bumper, but you are responsible. So You definitely don't want to do that. Now, most new vehicles have hill holder, where if you hold your brake, let go of your brake, it maintains the brake for a period of time until you can engage the clutch. Or is it disengaged clutch? Which way do you clutch?
Disengage.
Okay, disengaged clutch. Okay.
Did you have breakfast this morning?
Why is there spam? Anybody hungry? I don't know. With 245 people, usually we're at the 1,600 people when spammers really take action. But some small folks who decide to harass their peers are apparently taking action within our chat. I don't read the chat, so I can't actually see what you're trying to do. You're not offending me if that's your goal, so move along. Nothing to see here. And if you're in here and the spammers are annoying you, I'm sorry. They're not good people. But we do have a number of moderators here who will be happy to block them for us, or at the very least mute them so they can stop harassing you. Not me. They try to hit me, but it don't work. Okay. Can you speak about window tints? Yes, I've been talking about tint a lot, really upsetting people about tint. And tint is not specifically or completely illegal. Depends on where you use it and how you apply it and what levels are at. We have a great video of it in our playlist called the FAQ playlist. And here's the quick rundown. You cannot have any tint on your windshield. Now, if your vehicle is manufactured before 2017, you can have a 3-inch strip across the top with a brow or a tint strip or a sun strip, whatever you want to call it. But nothing else, and nothing at all on newer vehicles. When you're talking about the windows directly left and right of the driver, you can have up to 30% light blockage on those. Now, I will tell you that atmospheric conditions do come into play. So if you have 30% tint, but it's nighttime or it's stormy or there's no light and we can't see in, it's still illegal. You can't obscure the interior of your vehicle with color or reflective tint, which means reflective tint is also illegal on the front windows of the vehicle. When you get to the back windows, the rear passenger or the rear window, those can be as dark as you want. In fact, legally, you don't have to have them as long as you have a clear view to the rear with a mirror. But thank you very much for bringing up tint. There's lots of questions about it. We always talk about windshield tint and super dark tint as being unsafe. And as a result, not only can you receive $110 tickets for having obscured the interior of your vehicle or being too dark, you can also have your license plates removed and deemed unsafe, at which point you can't roll on the road. You'll have to go reapply after getting a safety. And mechanics do have tint meters. They know how much tint is on your vehicle, and they're not supposed to safety it if you have too much.
Can you answer about vaping inside a moving vehicle? What are the restrictions?
So vaping is similar to that of smoking. The Smoke-Free Ontario Act regulates it. Unless you're talking about vaping illegal substances, you can't obviously vape anything with drugs. Even marijuana or THC content would be illegal while in a vehicle, whether you're moving or not. Now, if you have a passenger who is under the age of 16, it's illegal to vape or smoke, and that would be a charge to the driver or whoever's smoking in a vehicle. Yeah. That is the answer for that, and we'll move on to solid traffic lines or suggestions, correct? Correct. In Ontario, and it is different in every province, solid lines or dotted lines, whether they be yellow or white, are suggestions. There is no Highway Traffic Act offense for crossing them. However, if you cross them and cause a collision, you're still responsible for the collision and responsible for whatever charges come from that. Just the actual act of crossing the line isn't enforceable. Greetings and salutations. A message from Akela Draconis, who says the Leafs won, but you're late to the party. We already talked about the Leafs. But obviously you are a Leafs fan, so congratulations. I don't know the last time they won. Have they ever won before? I don't know. I say that waiting for the hate. I don't follow hockey. Okay. Got a red light? No, I pressed that button and another one. Is it illegal to pop a tire? Pop a tire where? Your tire, somebody else's tire, while you're driving, when you're parked? What do you mean? Pop someone's tire? Like someone else's? This is sounding pretty silly. Yeah, you can't vandalize or destroy other people's property, so popping it would be illegal.
What about wheelies and endos?
Wheelies and endos are stunt driving, and that would come with falls under that whole stunt driving legislation. So whether you're driving 50 over, 40 over, marked departure, drifting, wheelies, any intentional lifting of your vehicle's wheels from the road, skidding, burnouts, donuts, all those things are stunt driving. 14-day impound of your motor vehicle, 30-day suspension, and there are significant consequences when you get to court. You can have on your first conviction up to $10,000 fine, up to a 3-year suspension on your license, and what else? Up to 6 months in jail. Does that cover on the first one? But subsequent ones, you get more and more. So you can end up with a, it's for 1 to 3 year conviction on the first offense. Second is 3 to 10 year suspension, I should say. And then you can get a lifetime on your third conviction. Okay, got a red list. No, I keep pressing the same question. I keep getting different answers. I would like to be an informant for the feds. Good luck to you. I don't know what kind of answer you're looking for there. Got a red light on snowstorm. Can I fight it? Red lights happen all year round. You mean that you ran a red light in a snowstorm? You can try and fight it, but it's not an excuse. Snow happens. Even if you're in the United States, snow happens. So the deal is that if you have snow or any road condition that makes it slippery, you need to drive at the appropriate speed. You're responsible when you don't stop for a light. Even if it was a yellow light. Actually, yellow light, if it's unsafe, you're allowed to go through, but there's conditions to that. Is dumpster diving against the law in Ontario? Going through people's property is against the law, and it's in Canada, not just Ontario. So there may be additional bylaws in provinces, but generally speaking, if it's someone's private property and you're going through their private garbage and it's not on the curb, you can't go through it. So that would be illegal. Hey, good morning. I get stunt driving charges. I don't understand the question. You want them, or you got them, or you want to know about them? What do you want to know? But please ask me, because your current sentence doesn't compute. I'm 19. Can I borrow my mom's car? She's insured. So if you live with your mother, most insurance companies want you to be listed. But if you have your G2 or G, then you can certainly borrow. From a police perspective, you can operate a motor vehicle that is insured and that you are properly licensed to operate. That being said, if you live with her, your insurance company may want you to be listed on it. And obviously, borrow with consent. Thank you, Q, for mentioning the fact that taking a vehicle without consent is an offense. It's criminal. But if you're given the permission to do it, then yes, by all means. Can I drive a dirt bike on the street? If you mean dirt bike, not BMX, but an actual motorcycle, then no, you cannot. That is an off-road vehicle not permitted to be used on the road. Can I still drive with my G2 if it's expired? If it expired March 1st, 2020, all the way till now, or all the way through to the end of this year, you're covered under an extension up until December 31st, 2022. I almost said 32 because I tend to, for some reason, want to give you a 10-year extension that I don't have the authority to do. So, that's the deal. You are covered until the end of this year, and then you would not be. So you want to try and get your full G. I misplaced my license, but I have a picture of it. Is it okay? No, you can't drive with a picture of it. You need to have the actual driver's license in the event that you're stopped. A police officer will make a demand for license ownership and insurance, and if you fail to surrender when the demand is made, you are responsible and can be charged for failing to surrender, which is a $110 ticket. It's not a moving violation; it's a document charge. So, but it is a legit offense. What you should do is immediately make a report that, or if it's misplaced, one thing, but if you've lost it, make a police report. Somebody could be opening bank accounts up in your name. You want to make sure that you protect your identity. Report that as stolen if it or lost, and go get a new one. But don't wait. What is this? Applying for police with 2 collisions. We don't call them accidents. 2 collisions on record. The deal is that, stuff happens. Even if they're your fault, stuff happens. If you are a horrible driver, and you have a lot of tickets and charges against you, that may be different. But if it's 2 dated collisions and, you can explain how you've become a better driver since, you may still have a shot. But driving is a big deal. TPS officer responded to something in chat. They can't see this, but I just saw this. We don't generally look in the chat, but what is this? When I get my G2 license, can I drive 4-wheelers on the road? I can't really comment on off-road stuff. Sergeant Campbell is our off-road specialist who is not here because he's on a course. But my understanding is you have to be properly licensed to drive a vehicle on the road. I think you'd be okay with a G2, but I don't know for certain. I would check with the local police that deal with off-road stuff. That's usually the OPP or whatever municipality you are in when you're operating. But I apologize. Off-road stuff, just not my specialty. Let's see here. Oh, in a shopping center, this is from Tinto Tozy, who's coming in from Montreal. In a shopping center parking lot is a one-way direction under the police jurisdiction. I don't know about a provincial law on Quebec when it comes to that. I don't believe that off-road or private property would be for one-way, But the whole thing is, if you are given a sign that says one way, that is a really good indication that if you go the wrong way, you're going to end up in a collision. So not listening to it, just not smart. But whether it can be enforced, that's a different story. I don't know about the Quebec law on that. I'm going to assume, and I would assume that they wouldn't, but I may not be right. What about red fog lights? Well, in Ontario, the only color light you can project forward is, are white and yellow, amber. So you can have, and this is basically the olden days when I was a lad. No, when I was a kid, you used to see amber or yellow fog lights all the time because they apparently cut through the smog or fog differently. So they're legal for, and the only colors that are legal are yellow and white. That was a long answer for a simple answer. Okay. How long does the suspension stay on record to insurance? Well, convictions stay for 3 years from the date of conviction. Points stay for 2 years from the date of offense. And suspensions, I don't think go away, but they only have, like we see everything from the first day you were licensed. Insurance companies, I think they only have a 3 or 4 year window. Okay. Now the plates don't use stickers. When are we doing e-tests and safeties? There's a discussion that I haven't seen finalized about regular testing and inspection for vehicles, which I think is great because we have a lot of vehicles that are truly unsafe and shouldn't be on the road. But I don't have specifics as to what's happening with that right now. Essentially, when you transfer the ownership of motor vehicles, really the only time it's you need to certify right now, and I think they're trying to make that more regular. In any case, whenever we see a vehicle on the road that appears to be unsafe, we will do an inspection and we will lay charges if is appropriate. How often are radar speed guns calibrated? Oh, this is good questions. The deal with radar and speed gun calibration is they're tested on a regular basis, like every time they're used. In fact, before we use them for enforcement, and then once again after we complete enforcement to ensure that they are working as per the manufacturer's tests or stipulations or guidelines. Yeah. If there's an issue with before, it won't work. We won't use it. If there's an issue when we come back, we will record that, and that will likely invalidate everything that was done with it that day. However, I've never had a situation where a radar, and we don't really use radar except when we're internally in a moving radar situation in a vehicle, with laser. I've never seen an issue with them. And that's only in the last 20 years that I've been using them. So it's been a while. They're tested daily. Calibration is done by manufacturers and by techs, but not us. What are the rules with smartwatch and driving? Well, when they came out and the handheld communication laws for distracted driving came out, charges were laid. They are, in most cases, capable of sending and receiving messaging, and that makes them prohibited. And you could be charged. Now, my watch, I have an Apple Watch, and it has a cellular. I can make phone calls on it. I can swipe. So here's the deal. If you're looking at the time, you're glancing at the time, to me, it's no different than looking at your Seiko. If you are swiping and manipulating the screen and doing more with it, well, now you are using your communication device, and that's where I would find you responsible and lay a charge. Okay. Questions about the funniest pullovers I've had. I don't know what we'll talk. We'll talk. I'll come back to that in a second. Here's a question, and this is one that sparked a lot of debate recently. And it's not the first time we talked about it, but emergencies. Are you allowed to speed when there's an emergency? No, you're not allowed to speed. And here's something that many people don't take into consideration when they go, well, I got to get there. It's really important. Many things to talk about here. So first off, you're not allowed to speed. 2, speeding is unsafe. You run the risk of becoming involved in a collision, at which point not only is your patient, whether it be you or somebody else in your vehicle, you may not get to where you're going to help them. As my friend YYZ Traffic, is it YYZ Traffic PC, I think is his username. Anyway, Brian says, and he's a former paramedic, says that 30 years ago it was important to get to the hospital fast because that's where the advanced care was. Well, nowadays, paramedics are advanced care on wheels. They bring the advanced care to you. Taking a patient that needs to get to the hospital to the hospital without care during that transportation, they're not stabilized. You want to get a paramedic to your location so they can be stabilized and transported while safe and as quickly as possible while remaining safe. Light sirens help that. Train drivers who are not panicking while trying to get mom, dad, or anyone to the hospital. It's a big deal. So no, you cannot speed, and there's really good reasons as to why. I know that some countries and some states apparently have laws that say when it's an emergency, do what you want. That's not the case here. We care about everybody on the road, and you don't get to put people at risk, including yourself, because we want to protect you. We want to protect everybody. What is this? Oh, here's a good question. Is it legal to own lions or tigers in Toronto? My understanding is exotic animals require special permits. I'm not aware of them being permitted in Ontario, or in Toronto, I should say. We had a monkey situation a number of years ago, and I believe that you cannot own exotic animals here. But that may not be accurate anymore, and it's best to check with your local municipality to ensure that you can get a permit to have whatever you want. And I would hope that you aren't keeping lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Can I go 60 and a 50? Everyone's doing it. My mom used to say something about the CN Tower. If everyone was jumping off, would you follow? The deal is that no, you cannot exceed the speed limit just because everybody else is doing it. Everybody is permitted to go up until the speed limit and no further. And anyone who goes above it is eligible for a charge under the Highway Traffic Act. And you should be charged under the Highway Traffic Act if you're choosing to speed because you are contributing to unsafe roadways. We want to protect vulnerable road users. Let's come back to Vision Zero enforcement scheme. Why are we out there charging people? We want people to change their behavior and follow the rules. Why? Because we have vulnerable road users, pedestrians, cyclists, all sorts of people who are out there using the roads and they deserve to get to where they're going safely. And when you exceed the speed limit, even by 10 kilometers, you are contributing to a less safe environment. And people say, well, going 70 into 60 is no big deal. Well, guess what? We just reduced speed limits across Toronto. 60s became 50s, 50s became 40s, 40s became 30s in many cases. And that's because we want pedestrians, when they're struck, and they do get struck, we want them to survive. And being struck at 30 or 40 has a much higher chance of survival than being struck at 60 or 70. And when people are speeding, they're just, putting our good work, trying to keep people safe, and they're throwing it out. We acknowledge that collisions are going to happen. We acknowledge that minor fender benders are going to happen, but the ones that lead to serious injury and death are preventable and totally unacceptable. And when people make the choice to break the law, they are choosing to put people at risk, and they should be held accountable to the highest extent of the law will allow. I got my license. Do you have any tips? Well, first of all, you're doing the first thing, which is following us, asking us questions, and contributing to this community we have here on TikTok, which, by the way, if you're not already following us, please do. We do this all the time because we want to make sure you have the best and most accurate information to guide you as you get behind the wheel of a car or vehicle of any kind every day. So, tips. Plan ahead. Leave lots of time. Don't be stressed out. Don't drink and drive. Don't drive impaired. But the biggest thing is take it easy. If you're a new driver, acknowledge the fact that you may not be the best driver. And we know that when you're learning, that's when things happen and collisions happen and mistakes happen. So try and give yourself the best opportunity for success. Slow down, take it easy, stay away from the phone. And if you have any difficulty keeping that phone out of your hand, because a lot of people are attached to it, I know I am, put it out of arm's reach. Put it in the glove box. Put it in your bag in the back seat. You don't need to be tempted by that device. We all hear the phone, the bing bong, and we want to pick it up and see who's talking to us. I plug mine in. Mine's connected to my device. I do everything by voice. Use Siri, use CarPlay. But you know what? If you can avoid it altogether, don't even use the driving mode on your phone so it doesn't distract you. You don't even need to do anything but focus on the task at hand, which is driving. And good luck. And as a new driver, I hope you have much success and safety. TPS officer says, can you speak to that? What are we talking about? Although people don't need to pay for VAL tags, they still need. Yes, thank you for bringing it up. And we've talked about this in the past, but for those who have not been around, although people don't need to pay for VAL tags, you still need to go in and renew all your plates. And I've been meaning to do this. I was going to do it online and record it while I did mine, and then I went in to do it, and it was down for maintenance. Just my luck. You still have to renew your license plates, although there is no fee. If you do not renew your license plates, you will be charged under the Highway Traffic Act for having invalid plates, invalid permit, failing to renew, that sort of thing. You don't need that kind of hassle. Just go online. It's free. There's no reason not to. Okay.
Can you speak about when you run plates? Do you see charges, like criminal charges, when you pull their plates?
When we run, so if we run their plates, we would see who the registered owner is, and then we would conduct an investigation from there. But we would have access to criminal information as well. Tips on taking a G1 test. Read the book. Get lots of sleep. Practice, practice, practice. It's 20 questions of rules of the road and 20 questions about street signs. It's not that hard. But I appreciate tests are not fun. So read it and know it and invest the time into it. Then get good sleep, eat something so you're not hungry and distracted. And good luck to you. I think you'll do great. Just come back and tell us how you did. And then stick around. Make sure you're following us so we can keep helping you as you get through the ones to the twos and the full license as you go. Now, there's a G test, so we're talking about automobile, but you could do the same thing with your motorcycle test. What motorcycle do police use? We have Harley-Davidson Electric Glides. They are the police version, and they are sweet, sweet, sweet motorcycles. Yeah, I miss riding. I don't know if I've mentioned that in the last 10 minutes. Hey, if you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada. I go live Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. answering your traffic and police questions. If you've got the questions, ask us. Use the Q&A function on TikTok or Instagram or anywhere on the chat if you're watching on YouTube, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, and Facebook. You can ask us questions there. Twitter's broken. If you do not hear from us returning your comments because we don't actually see it. And apparently we're getting lots of spam today. We've got, you got to ask you to not spam. Spamming is for clowns. We don't want clowns here. If you're spamming, you're disrupting the community. We don't want that. So please stop. We ask you, not because I see it, but because you're punishing our volunteers. We have non-paid, unpaid members of the community who have stood up and said that they want to help out and keep this as a safe space for people to get their questions answered. That's what we do. What are we saying here, Q? I don't know what your answers are. What? I don't understand she's sending me messages that are cryptic. Okay, Kevin Pierce. In any case, not police officers, volunteers, unpaid. You're punishing them. You're not punishing me because I don't read the chat. Okay, Kevin Pierce. If we don't keep with, here's a good, okay. So if we don't keep up with speeding traffic, we get honked at, the bird flipped, and create road rage. I wish here were more unmarked cars on the highway doing the speed limit. Okay. Kevin makes a good point. Apparently, every bozo who's speeding thinks that they are doing the right thing. And I'm not saying Kevin is doing the wrong thing. I'm saying that the people who are harassing Kevin when he's doing the speed limit are doing the wrong thing. This is very much a group mentality, a mob mentality thing where one person jumps on and feels peer pressure to exceed the speed limit. Unfortunately, there's no excuse for it. You can still get charged for going with the flow when the flow is breaking the law. It just means more people are breaking the law. You know what? I set the speed limit on my cruise control, and I annoy people all the way to work and all the way home. Mind you, very often all the way home is crawling home because it's such a heavy traffic. I go the speed limit, and if people don't like it, they can have their day ruined. I stay to the right. I give the people the opportunity to pass me illegally. They go in the passing lane and they pass it at above the speed limit, and I don't care because I've given myself lots of time to get to work, and they will get stopped by the speed trap ahead, and that's exactly what should happen. They need to be stopped and punished. But what happens is when everyone just jumps on board and goes faster, we just contribute to this unsafe environment. So I suggest, and what my ask is do the speed limit. Don't fall victim to being harassed and manipulated and bullied into going faster. Let the morons who are speeding pass you. Let them look like they're speeding so they're easily pulled out by police and charged appropriately. But again, when everyone's doing it, just make it harder for us. And we do and are out there with unmarked cars. We have the Vision Zero enforcement team. We have pickup trucks and SUVs and sports cars. We have all sorts of fantastic vehicles that when they light you up, you will not be happy. But I really appreciate you bringing it up, Kevin. It's a good topic. It's something that comes up on a regular basis, and I totally understand the position you're in. I am very good at laughing at the angry people as they pass me, and they deserve to be frustrated. What can I say? Okay, moving on. Hey, Akela's on the job. He understands the assignment. Akela says, speaking of motorcycles, what about the Harley draw? Did I win yet? Here's the answer. Toronto Police support Special Olympics Ontario. And how do we support Special Olympics Ontario? By promoting this magical opportunity to win a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. It's a 2021 Road Glide. In any case, it's a beautiful motorcycle. I want to win, so I'm buying tickets. www.harleyraffle.ca. That's where you can buy tickets. It's $20 for one or $3 for $50. The money raised goes to Special Olympics Ontario. It supports the amazing work that they do to help Special Olympians participate in sports and be amazing athletes that they are. It's really just an amazing organization doing great work. And today I'm actually waiting for my friend Erica to come to the station. We're going to record some spots. She's an Olympian with Special Olympics. We're going to talk about what she does, the sports she's in, and we're going to put a video out promoting the motorcycle. So I'm looking forward to that, and she'll be here right after we finish our live, I think. In any case, let's move on to questions, and thank you, Akila. Once again, www.harleyraffle.ca. You can get tickets right now. There's only 7,000 available. I don't know how many are left, so you may want to jump on that before the opportunity passes you by. I also know the person who won last year. He's one lucky dude with a really gorgeous motorcycle, because they gave away a Harley-Davidson last year and the year before that and the year before that. Each ticket is a 1 in 7,000 chance. That's actually really good odds. I don't know if my wife will let me invest the same amount of money I've given in the past. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, do we need another motorcycle in the garage that I don't ride because I was injured? I haven't been on a bike in years, but I really want to win a new one. Okay. Aren't 400 series highways designed for speeds of 130 kilometers? I don't know what they were designed for. I mean, they were originally used in, before we reduced speeds many moons ago. They may have been designed, but they are not currently in condition that I would support doing that speed. And have you seen other drivers on the road? It's not safe to be doing 130. The truth is, it's not safe to be doing 130. There are stretches of road that they've just determined are safe enough to do 110. But no one should be doing 130. There's no reason for it. Even if you want to say it's safe because the road will support it, no, there's no reason to be going that fast. We want to reduce speed limits everywhere. Do insurance get the same abstract as everybody else? So if you are getting your driver's abstract, you order it yourself, you get your entire history. They see a window of time, and I don't know how long that is, if it's 3 or 4 years, but they don't go beyond that. Did you ever see a canine? No, that's not what I pressed it, but it didn't happen. I've seen canines. I've never been in the canine unit though. Is listening to music full blast illegal? Creating unnecessary noise is unnecessary, and there is a charge for that under the Highway Traffic Act. So if you are blasting your music and that music is spilling out of your vehicle onto the streets surrounding you, you could be charged for unnecessary noise. It's no different than if your exhaust system was loud, if you're squealing your tires, you were honking your horn for no good reason. Okay. What is this? I'm a firefighter. I'm going to call. Can I? Well, I don't know what you're asking me. Oh, if I'm going to a call, can I speed? No, as a firefighter, you have no authority in your personal vehicle to exceed the speed limit. If you're a volunteer, you have a green light that allows you to ask people nicely to move over so you can save a life or save a building from burning or what have you. But you do not have the authority to exceed the speed limit at all whatsoever. You can't go through red lights either. Now, if you're a firefighter in a fire vehicle, which is properly A, owned by the fire service, and B, properly outfitted and equipped to be doing it, then you can exceed the speed limit according to the Highway Traffic Act. Your fire department may have different policies or procedures for you, but you're not eligible to exceed the speed limit. In Ontario, different jurisdictions may have different rules. What is this? Odds of police finding my radar. I love these questions because we have a lot of fun with radar and the hunt. See, we have this charge under the Highway Traffic Act that we can use, and that section gives us authority to search and seize, which means if we believe that you have the device, we can search your vehicle. Oddly enough, we also have tools, and we can disassemble parts of your vehicle looking for it. It's a full search and includes the passengers in the vehicle, and it really is not worth it. It's prohibited. So it's 2 points. It's $170, but you also lose your device, and we'll remove it and take it. So it's jammers, radar detectors, and aside from the fact that there are radar detectors that can be employed to find it, there's these great hints that we use, and we just need to substantiate a belief that you have it. Okay, moving along. If you get a ticket in Quebec, does it come on your record? Yes, it does. Quebec and generally all provinces share information. Additionally, some states have a reciprocal agreement and send back information. So that is a thing. Do I still need a physical sticker? No, physical stickers are no longer required. That is all done. But you do need to renew online. If my front plate points to the side, is it legal? No, your license plate must point forwards as it is displayed front and back. It can't be on an angle. It must be displayed in accordance to the HTA. It also can't be rotated to be vertical. Again, has to be plainly visible from the front and back.
What about the front toe instead on the side?
Toe, that's not the side. It can be off center. But my interpretation of the question was points to the side, meaning the left or right side facing the side of the road as opposed to facing forward. So off center is still perfectly legitimate. Many manufacturers have offset license plate frames. Of course, if it's in the rear, it must be illuminated.
Are wide tires illegal? Can I extend past the fenders?
You are not legally, you would be an improper tire if it extends beyond the fender. You have fender flare kits for a reason. You need to protect the or cover the tire from water and debris being kicked up. So those would be improper, and you'd be eligible for charges. I talk about this all the time. There was a retired copper who texted into the Jerry Agar show when I was on there saying, "How come all these improper tires are out on the road? Why isn't this being enforced?" Truth is, we focus on the big four, the behaviors that drivers engage in that lead to serious injury and death on our roadways, because we're trying to keep people safe. Is it unsafe to have improper tires? Sure, but it isn't the focus. So people get charged for it all the time, but it's not the focus of what we do. So if you have a false sense of security because you've had this for years and no one's ever stopped you, there's always tomorrow. Are blue fog lights illegal in Ontario? The answer is yes. You can only project white or yellow to the front of your vehicle. That is it. That is all. What is this? Oh, Akela Dracona says, road design specifications include safety factors. Roads aren't limited to max design, but suitable amount less to account for road conditions. Good point. Q apparently saw green fog lights this morning. Those would be illegal. Too bad Q can't pull people over. Okay. Do some officers use POVs, point of view cameras, you mean? We have body-worn cameras, many of our officers do, and we're moving to the point where everyone on the road will have them if they don't already have them. And yeah, we have point of view, we have body cams as well as in-car cameras. Thoughts on the Toronto Takeover page? I can't talk about the page per se, but the Toronto Takeover thing that people were doing, they're pretty much the reason why the stunt laws were enhanced to include private property, because they were doing really stupid things in cars and putting people at risk, criminal things in cars. In fact, there was a whole project that went out and made 60 plus arrests, I think, and seized a crazy number of cars because these people were doing things, not only shutting down streets and taking their over private property to do absolutely asinine maneuvers in vehicles that they're illegal. And now the law is for everyone in Ontario that you can't stunt drive, and it's things that should be logical, but it was their efforts that you can thank them for. The law is being changed, from what I understand. It's all them apparently.
Red light cameras, do I get points deducted?
Red light cameras are not the same charge as those that police officers lay. So the charges against the vehicle, and the registered owner is responsible for the actions of that vehicle, or the use of that vehicle. So they're responsible for it, but it's not the driver, so it doesn't go on the driver's license. If a police officer pulls you over, we charge the driver, not the owner, for that offense anyway.
And the owner's responsible for the fine regardless of who they lend their vehicle to, correct?
Yes, considering the fact that you gave them the vehicle and you know who had it, you get to go to them and say, hey, you're the dummy who drove through that red light. You get to pay me back for the money that you cost me. Date and time and photo even are supplied, so they would know exactly who it was behind, or they should know who they gave it to. Let's see here. What are the requirements to becoming a police officer? Great segue into going to visit our webpage, www.torontopolice.on.ca/careers. That is where you can find out all the information you could possibly need to become a police officer with the Toronto Police Service, at least the minimum requirements. Additionally, you can go and find out about other jobs, because there's other opportunities. We hire civilian jobs. We hire for parking enforcement, for special constable. Lots of opportunities if you are interested in becoming a member of our great organization. Great place to work. I've been here for over 22 years. I think we started in 2000. What year is it now? 2022. Look at that. Okay. Can I hold a button to toggle Siri on a watch? Most of the Apple Watches, if it's recent, has the ability to say, hey, Siri. So you shouldn't be activating or touching your watch in any way. But you know what? You could turn the light on your watch if you had a Casio. So could you press one button? You could probably do that. At the end of the day, it's going to be based on what the observations are made by the officer who's observing you. If it looks like you're swiping and actively using your watch, you're probably going to end up being charged, and no one wants that. What is a simplified rank structure in TPS? What is a simplified rank structure? Okay. Basically, there's PC. There's actually 4 stages of PC, but PC being the lowest rung. Then you have sergeant, staff sergeant. You have inspector, staff inspector, superintendent, staff superintendent, deputy chief in chief. That's basically all the options. I don't think I missed any. If I did, let me know. I don't think I did. Let's see here.
Can we talk about school buses?
No.
Okay.
Really?
Fine.
What do you want to know about school buses?
Sorry, chat. We don't want to talk about school buses.
We don't want to talk about. No,
How do we stop for school buses, and what parameters? I guess.
So there's I got
division.
you. There's a 2-stage system. So it's changing, but right now, if it's red or amber and in motion, that's telling you that they're about to stop. Once they have come to a complete stop and they've switched to red flashing lights and stopped, or from amber to red, and the stop sign is out, regardless of whether the stop sign is out. As soon as the flashing lights are on and they've come to a stop, you cannot pass them. If it's on a divided highway where there's a barrier between the north and south or east and west, then only the traffic on the same side, same direction has to stop. If it's an undivided highway where it's a dotted line instead of a barrier like a barricade or a what am I thinking here? Divider. I can't think of what I want to say, but basically if there's no boulevard or what's it called? Bullnose? I don't know. If there's no divider, then everyone has to stop, both north, south, east, west, all traffic stops when that's opposing. They cannot pass in either direction. And that's it. There's not really much else. Even police have to stop when the stop sign and lights are on. No one is above this. And I think the wonderful thing is that we're getting camera systems in there to go and charge drivers who are so out to lunch that they choose to put children at risk, our most vulnerable of road users. They need to be protected. And thank you, Akela says boulevard. Yeah, that boulevard is in the middle that divides the highway and divided highways. Hey, yeah, a lot of words come out at the same time. Okay, Kevin wants to know, can I hang a flag out my car window? Go Leafs, go. Hang a flag, like just closing the window on a fabric flag? No. If you're mounting it and it's secure, different situation. It's very important that you don't just willy-nilly add things to your car that could blow off and cause damage or obscure someone's vision and cause a collision. So you would be responsible for that, and you could be charged. Do motorcycle helmets need to be replaced? Fantastic question. I think it's the first time anyone's ever asked this particular question. So anytime a motorcycle helmet is dropped, it's garbage. The foam, the styrofoam inside is only good for one impact. So if you want to keep your head protected, you replace it after you drop it, which can be very expensive. So care for your motorcycle helmet. I get paranoid about mine. If it's been in a collision, obviously, it's garbage. After 5 years of use, 5 years even sitting on a shelf, the foam becomes brittle and is less protective. It doesn't have that same ability to absorb impact anymore, and you put yourself at higher risk. So every 5 years, if it's dropped or involved in a collision, they're garbage, replace them. It's one of those things that you want to sort of write down when you bought it, keep track of it. There are stickers inside, but it's just a good idea. One of those things people often do. I think when I bought my first motorcycle at 16 years old, I went to the dealership and I said, I want to buy a bike. They said, hey, you need a helmet. They tossed me this piece of crap that they probably found in the basement that was 20 years old. And that's what I rode with. I had no idea. So it's a really good question. Thank you, Canadian Mama 83, for asking that. We should do a whole video on that. Good idea. And Q says, another excuse to buy a new one that has built-in Bluetooth and space vision. All right, okay, I might be ad-libbing.
GoPro? Yes, you are ad-libbing.
Yes, GoPro. This is actually a good segue. That wasn't so much a segue as a specific request from Q. But GoPros or adding anything to the helmet, if you modify your helmet, whether you are gluing on a helmet mount, if you are adding a furry, I saw one was Cookie Monster. It was awesome. Looks great. Dangerous though. See, when the helmet is designed that when it hits the asphalt, that it glides across. could you picture if you hit the ground and it didn't glide? You'd break your head off like at the neck. It'd be pretty messy, I think. Motorcycle collisions are dangerous enough. Don't add things to make them more dangerous. Don't reduce your chance of survival. Wearing a helmet is to make you safer. Putting things on it that could make it less safe, not smart. So don't do it. It's also a charge. Okay. How long do you have to report a collision? Everyone says accident. It's a collision. So we say 24 hours. Within 24 hours, you can report to a collision reporting center. Obviously, if the weather is really bad, if it's in the middle of winter, don't worry about getting there today. Get there when the weather is not so bad. And if it's more than 24 hours, so be it. It'll be a little longer. Obviously, again, if there's injuries involved or if there's something going on, chances are it was done at scene. But if it's not done at scene, then you can go to a collision reporting afterwards. Do your best to get there as quickly as possible. That's the deal. Could you be charged for not reporting a collision? Yes, you could. Do both parties have to go at the same time? No, they don't. They don't have to go to the same location. They do have to go to both Toronto police ones if it occurred in Toronto, but they don't have to go at the same time. Here's something to talk about. In the city of Toronto, we have an additional collision reporting center, but it's only for pedestrians and cyclists. So if you are a pedestrian or cyclist involved in a collision and you stay at scene, Toronto Police will still respond and complete that report at scene. But if you leave the collision's location and report it after the fact, you're going to be directed to a collision reporting center. So you now have 3 options, whereas motor vehicles only have 2. You can go to the east, the west, or now the one right here in this building at 9 Hannah Avenue in Liberty Village. So you can start the report by going to our website, to the collision reporting center website. You can start the report there and complete it here or at any one of the 3 locations, whichever is most convenient. But that is, I wish I had the website up. I wasn't prepared to talk about this. I'm going to make a video about it. We'll post it up later. But yeah, 24 hours is the guide. Try and keep it within then. You do have to report forthwith. When you call in to get guidance, they'll give you more direction when you call into the police to tell them that you've been involved. Okay, moving on. What is this? Okay. This is some strange things that I can't decode. Hi, good morning. That part I got. Is lane splitting on a bike illegal? No, it's not. It would be considered careless driving. Okay. Why do some officers have ram bars and others don't? Another first. I don't think we've ever been asked this question. They're push bars, not ram bars. We're not ramming into anybody. Those are for, generally speaking, for emergencies. If we have to push a vehicle off the road for its own safety or to make way. If it's disabled, there are certain, we don't generally use them, but traffic cars have those, and the purpose is, twofold. With newer vehicles now, it's to mount the siren externally, but it is if we have to push vehicles out of the way. We're not ramming into anybody, at least that's not the intention. Let's see here. 6 minutes left. I want to try and get a couple of really good ones in. Can I ride my bike on the sidewalk with my son? Really good question. The answer is that if you're over the age of 14 or 14 and over, you cannot ride on the sidewalk. And I appreciate that puts you in a position if your child is under 14 and can ride on the sidewalk. But legally in the city of Toronto, you cannot operate a bicycle if you're over the age of, or if you're 14 or over, you can't. So the answer would be no, you can't. And I know that a lot of people say, well, I'll take the ticket, and that might be your option if you want to be off the sidewalk. If you're being reasonable and you're not causing issues, most people don't have a problem, but obviously there are people who put others at risk by riding on the sidewalk, and it's abused, especially in the city of Toronto. We need safe places for vulnerable road users like pedestrians who need somewhere to be. Bicycle lanes are a great place in the city of Toronto. Utilize those when you can. And parks are a great place to ride where it's safe. Okay. Tinting a car, what's the percentage? Is it allowed? Did I read that completely out of order? Tinting a car, is that allowed? What percentage? 30% for the windows, left and right of the driver, nothing on the front windshield. You can go as dark as you want on the rear windows, and that is the thing. We do have a window tint video in our FAQ playlist. Check that out because all the information that I just mentioned is there. Now, you can't have any reflective tint on the windows left and right of the driver, and that would be illegal. And what else can I tell you about tint? Anything else to add about tint? And you can't obscure the interior of your vehicle. So if you do have legal tint, so it's no more than 30%, which would get you safetied, if it's dark out and you're driving with tint that's technically legal, it's on the border where it's 30%, if we can't see inside the vehicle, it is against the law. But different area of the Highway Traffic Act that deals with that. Browse, if your vehicle was manufactured before 2017, you can have a 3-inch tint strip across the front top of the window. That's the 3 inches from the top of the window to the PS1 line, or 3 inches, which is 75 millimeters, whichever happens first. Can you get a ticket for no helmet with a bicycle? Yes, you can. If you're under the age of 18, you are required by law to wear a helmet. That means that you can get a ticket for it. So once you're 18, you have the ability to make bad decisions, and then you can go without a helmet, at which point you put your computer at risk. Minor collisions on a bicycle, even falls, just not moving, could result in head trauma, brain damage. Things that appear to be not so serious are serious. And I had a conversation with someone on the weekend someone who just lost their balance standing at a stop sign or on a driveway. I think it was standing at a driveway, lost their balance, fell over on their bicycle while waiting for somebody, hit their head on the curb, and they never came out of their coma. So you never know. Why risk it? Wear a helmet, and I wear a helmet because I want to protect my melon. What is this? Should we take tickets to court? If so, why? That is your choice. If you believe that you're innocent, you have the right to challenge the ticket. If you are guilty, why waste taxpayer money and your time going to court to dispute something that you're not actually innocent of? That's me. You do have the right to take it to court. You don't always win because you take it to court. But if you think you are innocent, you certainly have that right. You can also do something which is sort of in between. You can go to a first appearance with a prosecutor. Very often a prosecutor will give you an opportunity to plead guilty and a reduced fine or reduced offense. That's an option that you have. Additionally, if you have financial issues, if you cannot pay the fine, you can certainly take it to court or to a first appearance and tell them that. And very often my experience is that the courts will give you an opportunity to pay over a longer period of time. So let's say, and I'm picking a number out of a hat, it's a $1,000 fine. They may say you can make payments on a regular basis from now for a year. Instead of having to pay everything today, you could build a schedule. Now, if you don't pay it by a certain time, then you can get into some other trouble. What are we going to talk about for the whole 2 more minutes? 2 more minutes. Okay, well, we know we're going to be here tomorrow from 10 to 11. In fact, no, tomorrow's an extra large account. Extra large because we're going to start at 9:30 because we're going to do the first 30 minutes with Jerry Agar on News Talk 1010. We're going to answer questions from his audience. We'll have you here on TikTok too and on all the other social media platforms. But we're going to have an exclusive 30 minutes with him and them, and then we'll patch over and we'll continue our regular live from 10 to 11. Now, the folks who are watching on Instagram, you only come in from 10 to 11. So if you want to join us for the first 30, either tune in to News Talk 1010 or jump onto one of the other platforms so you can see it, because we're limited to an hour, so we start this for the full hour at 10 o'clock. Thanks for everyone who has joined in. We'll be losing the folks on Instagram in 1 minute and 40 seconds. We can start talking about this. Do I need a mirror on my 99 motorcycle? If yes, you need a mirror. You need at least a mirror on your motorcycle. What are we doing here? We're winding down for 1 more minute, and I'm trying to stuff as many questions into this minute as I can. No, I'm looking for something good. What is the most difficult person you've stopped? There's so many. Nobody likes getting tickets, so there's been lots. I was supposed to talk about a funny one. We'll have to leave that for tomorrow. I know what I want to talk about, but I'll have to run it through the editors and the judges, and we'll talk about funny stuff tomorrow. Why are police allowed to tint and not us? Nobody's allowed to tint. Generally speaking, tint is for everybody. We want to be able to see out and see in and all that jazz. What if you're legally allowed to 1 drink and you go, what? I don't know your question. Selena asked about legally allowed 1 drink. There's no legally allowed 1 drink. There's being allowed to drive with a certain amount of alcohol in your system if your license allows for it. But that's it. Okay, and with the end of the music, we are at 11 o'clock. I'll do the 10-second countdown timer as I hit the end. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, as always. Follow us for more, and yeah, see you tomorrow.
Bye.
3, 2, 1, 0.